We're so happy.
Oh my God, it's jumping up and down. It's so happy. Okay, we are in, we are here, and we are having cocktails.
Hello.
It's another
Hi.
night, and we've got Santa Fe Spirits, Colin and Leif with us tonight. Yay!
We're super happy to have you guys.
We'll take these off so we're not muffled, but we are practicing social distancing.
Okay.
Just not at this very second. We've been working video editing, honest.
Right.
So welcome again to Santa Fe Spirits to our second cocktail. We have our wonderful mixologist here, Leif. I just want to say thank you. And we're going to put a plug in for Santa Fe Spirits. We will be opening our downtown location next week.
So
next
excited.
Thursday.
Bravo!
Yay.
Lisa finally has a place to go.
Lisa's got a place to go.
Yay.
If you can't keep up with Leif and making cocktails, and not many of us can, come and have them down at the tasting room, and you will meet our new fellow here, Angelo,
Oh, hi.
who's a rock star mixologist just as well, and he will entertain you with some great cocktails down there. But anyway, that's our little plug.
Thank
He's going to
you.
make a cocktail, and if we get time, I'm going to do a quick wander around the distillery and show you where we make the gin.
Okay.
Oh, goody.
Okay. Look, we need to mention this though, you guys. USA Today. You guys were nominated.
So Santa Fe Spirits has been nominated out of the 20 top distilleries to be one of the best in the USA. We're currently ranked, I think, 10th. We'd like you all to vote for us so we get pushed up the rankings.
Yeah.
It's a weird ranking system because you can vote on every device every day.
Wow.
So set an alarm every morning. So we need your help.
Okay.
We're nominated for, and the ladies will share the link with our viewers. We're nominated for Best Gin Distillery and Best Brandy Distillery as well. So we'd love to get your vote every day on as many devices as you can. Help us sell stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
everybody, we told you that Santa Fe Spirits was amazing. It's true.
Yeah.
So vote. Take it for
Oh, this gin.
Over to the
This
cocktail.
gin, I almost got a straw.
Over to Leif.
Perfect. So, my friends, nice to see you all again. Again, my name is Leif. I'm the sales director for Santa Fe Spirits. We're happy to have you in our building and in your own living rooms and wherever you are making some cocktails with us. So today we are going to feature our Wheeler's Gin.
Yes.
So first I want to talk to you about the gin a little bit. Let's give everyone the label. The girls have that.
Beautiful label.
Beautiful.
Awesome. So Wheeler's is, Colin mentioned last week, I forget his first name, but he was George Montague Wheeler. So he was a explorer that, explored these parts of the world. And Wheeler's Peak is the highest peak in New Mexico for us. So that's where we took the name from. One of the cool parts about Wheeler's is the botanic mixture. So when we talk about gins, I would describe gin in general as the original flavored vodka, right? So different botanicals flavor this base spirit, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. So the base of our Wheeler's Gin is corn. So we mentioned last week, vodka can be distilled from anything that has distillable sugar, mostly cereal grains. So our vodka, which is the base of our gin, is distilled from 100% corn, which we talked about last week as adding a little bit of a sweetness for the vodka category. For me, that translates through to the end product in Wheeler's as well. So thinking about that as in general, so gin's the original flavored vodka. Any number of botanicals can be put into gin. So
Lisa has a question.
Yes, Lisa.
Leif, I did not know that, okay? And I come from an alcohol, my family makes wine, and I did not know this about gin. I always thought gin was something unique unto itself. I did not realize it was a vodka base. I always thought
I mean, you basically start with gin like you do with vodka. It's a neutral grain spirit of some sort. And then you add the botanicals. So I'm saying that as, kind of, 100 years ago, late 1800s going into the 20th century is that that's the original way that people had gin, was that it was the, flavored botanicals in their vodka.
So gin.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So then making it, so what botanicals different distillers choose to put in their mix makes a big difference. For wheelers, we pare down there can be any number of botanicals in gin, 50 to 20 botanicals. The only thing that it has to have legally to be considered a gin is juniper of some sort, right? And so the botanical mix has to be, juniper, I would say heavy. So your London dry style gins, like you were mentioning, Sapphire earlier when we were talking, your Tanquerays have a very high juniper content. That's just the way that's made. For wheelers specifically, we use botanicals only sourced from within 30 miles of our distillery in Santa Fe. So, like I mentioned, the juniper, which you can find up on Wheeler's Peak until Tree Line, obviously, but has to have juniper. So juniper is the first botanical in our gin. And I have, let's see if I can show you some juniper berries.
Juniper berries. I steal juniper berries from my neighbor. Oh God, I hope my neighbor's not watching. I don't have any juniper in my yard, and I use the berries to marinate when I brine my turkey at Thanksgiving. So always Thanksgiving morning, I am running across the street in my pajamas to get.
What day is that again? So all gins have a juniper component, fairly heavy. I wanted to mention about our wheelers. So it's not a London dry style gin. The juniper component in the fraction, I'll talk about a little bit how we make the gin, or maybe Colin will. But the juniper is pared down quite a bit in terms of like heavy, impactful London dry style juniper forward gins. So the other botanicals that we use also are sourced from at least 30 miles within where we are in Santa Fe. We use Cascade hops, which are a lot of a lot of gins you see some kind of a citrus component in, whether it's lemon, whether it's kaffir, lime, whatever. For us, we use the Cascade hops as that kind of high citrus note of our gin. So that's very notable. When you smell the wheelers, the first botanical I get is this really heavy herbaceous sage component. So we use desert sage, which you can find, like I said, right in our neighborhood. That to me when you smell our gin right off the bat, that's really what you get, is that kind of super herbal, herbaceous sort of sage component. And when we make this cocktail in just a few minutes, that actually comes into play again. The other three botanicals that we use osha root, which kind of gives sort of a very grounded sort of a feel. So if you picture the Cascade hops as like the top bright citrus notes, the osha root would be kind of at the bottom of that. Cholla blossom flowers I mentioned in the middle there. And then what am I forgetting? Cascade hops, juniper, we got it all.
Yeah, let's see the cholla blossoms, because lots of people don't know what they look like.
Let me show you. I didn't talk about the cholla blossoms a ton. So we harvest these from usually the Bonanza Film Ranch just outside of town. You can see, so we take the entire node of the cactus and the flower itself. So adds kind of a floral component to the gin, as well as this really cool kind of vegetal component from the cactus blossom itself as well. So I think enough about
Lisa has a question. Lisa has another question.
I just wanted to tell the viewers that when Debriana and I first took in the scent of this gin, it is such an aromatic, gorgeous scent. And I can drink this straight, and I cannot say that for most gins. It is beautiful. It is an absolutely gorgeous scent. Unbelievable.
I want to dab some behind my ears.
It's for us at Santa Fe Spirits, the #1 seller in our portfolio. It really has hit a vein with us in the Southwest. Is it's so terroir driven, and it really feels. I was describing to the ladies earlier when we were talking. Wheelers, to me, the flavor and the smell profile of it is like hiking in the high desert in a rainstorm. You get this kind of mustiness and kind of. So we're excited that Wheelers kind of shows where we are in the Southwest as well. So that being said, we're going to talk about a classic cocktail with our little twist on it. We'd love for you to support us with the Wheelers. It's really a phenomenal cocktail gin.
Okay, we have a question. Can you get it on the East Coast?
I know we have distribution. Colin walked off. I know we have some distribution in New York. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit on the East Coast and, other than New Mexico and Colorado, where we might be able to find Wheelers?
Yeah, you can get us. There's a lot out here in the Southwest, but you can get us in New York, still in Chicago, and there's about 2 stores in San Francisco that have us. But we're working on expanding that. We're in like Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Oregon, a lot of other states like that, and now in Texas. But
is there a specific store in New York? Like, say somebody wanted to order it on the East Coast from a New York store. Is there a supermarket chain or a liquor store, or where do they?
The biggest and best one that's known is called Astor's. Astor's is a massive store. Sorry, I'm walking off screen there. Well, we're mostly around New York City, but we are all over the whole state. But if they just go into their store and ask for it, our distributors all over, so they should be fine. Astor's, and there's another one called Surrey. I think it's called Wine and Vine.
Oh, yeah.
I remember Wine and Vine, yeah. So somebody has juniper and cholla blossoms. Do you think you're going to make some gin, person?
I hope so. I'm going to let Leif.
Yeah, there's plenty of juniper and cholla blossoms around, isn't there?
I'm going to let Leif get back to making this. Sorry?
I call the chollas New Mexico rose bushes because they're just so beautiful.
I love that phrase. They do look like that when they're all purple. I'm going to let you get back, but I will tell you, it's raining on the south side of Santa Fe where we are already. So it's coming your way.
Oh my God.
Paul will come back and possibly take us through a distillery tour in a bit. But ladies, do you have everything ready for your mixing?
Yes.
Awesome.
Ready.
So this is a cocktail, as we were talking about earlier, that, we like to take kind of classic cocktails and just twist them a little bit. For me in this application, it's really fun to be able to talk about sort of, a cocktail that stood the test of time, over 100 years, and our little tweaks on it, So you don't want to reinvent the wheel too much, but take what's been given to us and kind of broaden that a little bit. So we're going to take you through our version of the Tom Collins. Tom Collins is probably the most basic classic gin cocktail. First showed up in print around the late 1800s, 1875 or so. So this is a cocktail that people have been drinking for a long time. This is a style of cocktail, and we'll talk a little bit about sours and highballs. But this is a style of cocktail that really loves itself some sunshine, loves itself some patio. So this is, I guess it's raining now for 5 seconds, but in half an hour when it's nice outside, this is what you would call your porch pounder and that kind of thing. So again, we're going to make a take on the Tom Collins. We did a little bit of a modification. So we're going to call this one the 505 Collins. 505 is the main area code in New Mexico. So there you go, 505. So we're going to use a few different bar tools than we did last time. We're going to again come back to, and this is fun because who knows what you have at home, but this is what we have here. This is what pro bars have. This we mentioned to a lot of people. They call a pint glass in the bartending world. This is called a mixing glass. What does Debriana have now? Oh, it's Nice.
I chilled it.
Chill. That's fancy. So, yeah, she always has the larger. Oh no, Lisa had the large martini glass last time. So anyway,
Yeah, I actually have
that's your mixing glass. That's what we're gonna mix into this whole time.
Okay.
And then also you have your Boston shaker tin. That's gonna be key to the cocktail as well. As we saw yesterday, COVID times, last week. This is how they fit together.
Okay.
It's gonna be for shaking. So ideally you'd have those two things. Again, the must is your Wheeler's Western Dry Gin.
Yes.
What else? So we talked about last week our Hawthorne strainer. So this is your most basic cocktail strainer. We're gonna need that. Yep, Debriana has her double strainer, which we're gonna work with in a different way in just a second. And then whatever measuring apparatus you have. This is my electric bigger. Yep, you've got your espresso cup. Everything. Okay. So classic Tom Collins, right? This is a super awesome summer drink. We're gonna build directly into our mixing glass. Let's see if we can get this right. So I'm gonna hunch a little bit so you guys can see me, but you can also see the tools. We're gonna build. Oh, I feel very, very tall right now. We're gonna build directly into our mixing glass.
Okay.
Can you see it? Perfect. Okay. So super simple cocktail. This is a fun cocktail because we can talk a little bit about sours and highballs, right? So there's a classic category of cocktails called sours. Super, super simple. You take 3 S's. You take something strong, you take something sweet, and you take something sour, right? So I'm talking about booze, some kind of sugar syrup, and some kind of citrus. So that's what a sour cocktail is. When you turn a sour cocktail or a stirred cocktail into what we're going to talk about is a highball or a Collins, it just basically means that cocktail with some soda added. It could be ginger ale, it could be soda water, it could be some crazy fun fever tree flavor, whatever. So the basis of a Collins is a sour. So it's kind of fun to just kind of think about those a little bit. So again, we're going to start with our base spirit, which is our fantastic Wheeler's Gin.
Okay.
We're gonna do in our mixing glass 2 ounces.
2 ounces.
Of our Wheelers.
Or a quarter of a cup.
Nice.
Yeah, crazy. I don't know how many milliliters that is either. You're gonna have to tell me, Deborah.
2 ounces. Here we go.
Oh gosh, that smells
so what we have
good.
now, right, is our strong. We have our base spirit. We're good to go. We're gonna talk about the syrup a little bit. So basically, you have your simple syrup, or some people call it bar syrup. It's any amount of sugar, basically, with water diluted 1-to-1. So for this sage simple syrup that we made for this 505 Collins, clearly we wanted to accentuate the sage botanical in the gin, which is a great way to go, right? So I took a cup of sugar, a cup of water, brought it to a slow boil, and then threw about 8 to 10 fresh sage leaves in there. When I went to my garden this morning, I had some pineapple sage going. So I threw a little pineapple sage in there. If you wanted to do rosemary or any other.
I added a jalapeno.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, Debriana wanted a little heat in her life.
I have some of Debriana's sage syrup. We make simple syrup all the time, Leif, on Corona Kitchen.
Perfect. Okay, so you guys know all about that.
You know it, yeah.
So at any rate, yeah, that's a fun way you can twist up this cocktail to your liking, is do any other sort of herbs and spices in there. So we have our sage simple syrup as well. We're going to do just under an ounce. I'm going to go 3/4 of an ounce, even though I told you it was going to be an ounce. This is looking pretty thick. And then fresh citrus. So for this cocktail, for the Collins, it's lemon. This is a good time for me to tell you I don't have a lime press right here, huh? Fresh versus sweet and sour versus fresh. Always go as fresh as you can, obviously with any ingredient. So what we're going to do is we're going to take fresh lemon halves.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do, I noticed
Peggy.
Debriana, I noticed you had this strainer. Oh, you have a lemon press. Perfect. So actually what I'm going to do is, would you mind grabbing me one more glass? Sorry, just a clean glass.
So I don't need to strain the seeds, in other words, because this thing does it.
Correct, yeah. So everyone that's using a citrus press, half cut lemon, and you do cut side down, right?
Yeah.
Down. Even though it seems like in those, it fits the other way. So what I am going to do with the double strainer, Debriana, just to show you real quick, is I loved, if I was going to set up a bar to begin with at the beginning of the night, I would do fresh lemon and lime juice through this double strainer, so you get the citrus component, the chunks out of there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to squeeze my lemon through the double strainer. To get it ready, so that I have really nice, clean, clarified lemon juice. So we're gonna do, we did 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup. We're gonna do a full ounce of fresh lemon. So that's what you have in your mixing glass without any ice. You have your gin, you have your simple syrup of your choice. We did our sage, and you have your lemon. So we're going to add ice to that. We're building in what I would call either a highball or a Collins glass. So it's your tall, thin glass is ideal for this cocktail. So I add a little ice in there just because I like to start with everything completely cold. So I'm going to dump that ice out. So I have my completely chilled Collins glass ready to go. So back to our mixing glass, my friends. We're going to add ice.
Just a lot of ice.
Yes, for this cocktail, I would completely pack your mixing glass with ice. This being said, I wanted to before I shake, I wanted to tell you, you could build this cocktail directly into your Collins glass. If you don't have a shaker, it'll still taste good, but this is the ideal way to do it, right? We're going to shake with ice those 3 key ingredients that we talked about for the sour: the sweet, the strong, and the sour. So shake those up nice and good. When we shake a cocktail, we shake it to wake it up, not to rock it to sleep. So I don't want to see any of this kind of business, right? We're talking about the dilution. We're talking about getting it cold. It's part of the cocktail, so get into it. Shake it like you mean it. Always with a smile.
Tom Cruise movie, okay?
What's that? Yeah, Lisa's got her good shaker technique.
This is not
Really funny on a side. If you want to just Google different shaker techniques, it's really, really funny. What you don't want to do is just shake weight, right?
Okay.
Great.
You can lose your teeth that
So
way.
we're gonna crack the egg. We've got our Boston shaker. We're gonna put away our mixing glass. We're gonna get to our Hawthorne strainer.
Okay.
We're gonna strain that into our highball glass.
I mixed in my glass.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I'm putting right in my glass.
It's Corona Kitchen, right? What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna add ice now.
And tell us about the garnish.
Not there yet. Not there yet. So one last thing. So we talked a little bit about a highball, right? So a highball is a style of cocktail, and it basically means taking a sour or a stirred cocktail and adding some kind of sparkling agent, right? Like we said, soda water or Sprite or something fancier, ginger ale if you have it. What is that? Yep. So nice soda water. So what I'm going to do, I like our Topo Chico, just nice light. If you can, also your Topo Chicos. So if you can start with cold.
Okay.
So we're gonna do what we call lengthen this cocktail. Sometimes you hear people talk about a long cocktail, right? That just means a cocktail with a soda mixer, pretty much. So this is your highball. I'm gonna do one last. And then garnish.
Okay.
So you can see. So I did. It's funny. All the cocktails from this era are garnished with the cherry, right? And so this is traditional. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a lemon wheel. So a nice little river of lemon on the side.
Okay.
And then we're gonna also do the cherry. like we mentioned last week with the Mesquite Manhattan, I'd recommend not going with your red number 5 maraschino cherries. So this is a nice dark Amarena cherry.
Oh,
that is absolutely your classic
so pretty.
pounder.
I have to take a picture.
That is our version of the Tom Collins, the 505 Collins, with a little bit of sage in the syrup, so that you can
this is just
feel that.
This is just heaven.
Normally,
adult lemonade.
Normally we all share, but in these days, I'm going to do my. I learned this as a bartender, which was 80 years ago. Just a quick. You're right. Lisa's right.
Oh, that's so good.
Cheers, you guys. Thank you. This is so
Cheers.
Good. Wow.
Super fun. So if you're a little bit more into, well, let's just say, hey, you want to switch up the spirit, right? This cocktail is phenomenal with vodka. It's phenomenal with gin. It's phenomenal with even whiskey, right? So fun to be able to switch up the base spirit as well. But something about the botanicals. So would that
be a whiskey sour?
Totally, yeah. What basically? So we talked about, Debriana, the sour cocktails. So you have. Just for a second, we'll say we were talking about the 3 S's, right? So for a whiskey sour, you just do whiskey with lemon and simple syrup. So for a traditional daiquiri, rum, simple syrup, and lime. So it's fun once you get the hang of like all these bases of some of these classics. You can just twist it up with whatever you like. The sour is really the simplest cocktail. You can switch up the base, you can switch up the citrus, you can fancy up the simple syrup if you want. And then making it, like we said, a longer highball, just add whatever your favorite soda is.
Cool. I remember
Tails.
Oh, that's right. Nice. So Colin mentioned we want to try to give our viewers that maybe are on the wagon or don't drink booze at all an option. This is a really easy cocktail to leave the booze out of. A mocktail version of this would be just leave out the booze, crank up the sugar and the citrus component just a little bit, or add a little bit more soda water. But really refreshing.
You could add a flavored soda. Like, didn't you have lemonade soda, Lisa?
Yeah, I have this French sparkling lemonade. It's delicious. This is so good. And with the cherry that had a little bit of syrup in it, it's just so refreshing and delicious, with booze or not, depending on what your preference is. But I was just gonna say, I remember being a little girl and my dad, like behind the bar in the late 60s, when people would come over for a cocktail party and they all had highballs. And I remember like the scent of Crown Royal just makes me sick to this day. Because all the adults had it on their breath and they're like, hey. And then they had the horrible cherries. But the last time I think I ordered a Tom Collins, they used, I remember it was like a mix or something, isn't that like the mix?
So I mean,
they do.
Similar to like margaritas. I mean, there's obviously a ton of different shortcuts, right? Mm-hmm. So that's where sweet and sour came from. If you're going to order a Collins in a bar that didn't have fresh fruit, I might stick with just a shot of Crown or some Coquille. But,
it's not worth it.
So you can use sweet and sour in a pinch with the soda as well. The sweet and sour would approximate the citrus and the sweet.
You know
component.
What I'm saying? Like, that's what people should ask for when they go to a bar. Make sure that they're making it fresh, because you only want to have it like this. Like, if you have it with
it's a really refreshing cocktail if you get the ingredients right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Otherwise, just be too sweet or too sour. If you order it in a bar, it is worth having it made well.
Yeah.
And,
this is excellent. Thank you so much.
This is wonderful.
I saw a Facebook user posting here. Excellent lemon squeezy. Yeah, it's sort of it's that kind of drink.
It really is. Yeah.
And, by the way, it's not raining. It is Santa Fe. So, actually, I was going to give you a quick.
It's always a pleasure, and we always learn so much from you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I'm going to take
this
30 seconds We're gonna go for a walk.
Oh, goody.
Quickly.
I can still walk. I didn't drink it all yet.
I'm sitting down. I don't know if I can.
Oh, Angela can do this. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. We're going to go into the still.
Oh, cool.
And show you where we make the gin. So this is into the distillery.
Wow.
All our fermentation tanks on one side, mash tun on the other.
Wow.
Angela helps us in here.
It's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory for gin.
There you go. So this is the still. Basically, this is our still.
Wow.
We talked about the botanicals. What we do is the 5 botanicals we talked about, we macerate or infuse them all separately in tanks like this one here. You can see this tank, see this tank here? And you can see how much we make. When we take those, we put them into, you can kind of see the vessel at the back there. So we don't run through the main body of the still. We fill that with vodka. We run it up, and we'll get into this more technically some other time.
Wow.
Into the botanical vessel at the back there. This one over there. And in that vessel, we have all 5 botanicals that come out of these tanks here.
Okay.
All those tanks we empty in there, and basically a bubbling vodka at high proof and at high temperature through that vessel, and then it comes over here and out of this pipe into our container, and then into the bottles. Makes it sound
so the
easy.
heat doesn't cook the alcohol off?
Well, it does, but it's trapped within this machinery. So it turns into a vapor and goes up this tube and down that tube and down through a condenser, which then chills it back to cold, and we can catch the liquid afterwards.
Well,
so that looks like a giant clarinet.
Colin, you make a really amazing gin. It is so good.
Made by our distillers who have worked so hard this week. They're off for the evening. Let's go back to Leif if you have anything else to say.
Time for a cocktail. I should have had this last
If
night. That's all I want to say.
The weekend is here.
Enjoy the cocktail. And in a couple of weeks, we'll be back with more. That's for sure.
Yay!
Okay. Thank you
so much, you guys. Thanks.
I think that's us done.
Okay, so everybody's got to go vote here.
Yeah.
Don't forget to vote at USA Today for Santa Fe Spirit.
Yeah, it's actually usa.com/awards, and you'll see there's awards for lots of different distilleries in there. But if they go to, vote for Gin and Brandy Distillery, vote for Santa Fe Spirits.
Go to their website if you want to know more information about getting the products in your state.
Yeah, everything's on our website. Hey guys, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
That was so good, as always.
Here's the most important.
Super fun being with you guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Next time.
Santa Fe Spirits.
Feeling pretty good, Debriana.
That was great. I wish I'd had it last night. I needed it so bad.
Last night would have been a good night.
Back to the water.